What's up, everybody? This is the Sports League Podcast. Back for another week. I'm your host, Alex Leak. We got the co host, Amanda, with her Packers helmet. Amanda, good to have you on. How about my Bears getting that win over your Packers? Got to be excited for that.
It was a rough game. I can't even talk shit. I would say Chicago played well, but I don't think anyone played well in that game. But they played better than Green Bay, and that's all they needed to do. So
It was sloppy for sure. John, good to have you back on. We got AAA back together.
Yes,
Week 18 recap. Are you excited for the playoffs coming up, John?
the playoffs is going to be very strange to me. I think every game is going to be watchable because no team has really stuck out as being a factor of want to be like, oh, this team is going to be, just dominant. Everybody's talking about Philadelphia being I guess, the people to win, but I still feel like Kansas City is the team. I feel like their year has just been lucky. I can't say lucky, but when you're a good team, like they say, you prepare. Like when you prepare, that's why you get lucky. Like so,
Yeah.
I think they're moving up now. Even if they didn't play their starters and they got pretty much trashed this game, but you see how important their starters really are now.
yeah.
Like yeah, you definitely see now, like, okay, they really are a good team, and all these games that were close, it was because of those guys that were playing. They won.
Yeah, and they're three-time champs, and they got a great coaching staff, and you got Mahomes, and it's like when you got those things, and Amanda, you're seeing that right now. We saw it in Week 18, and in the playoffs, you're gonna see how important coaching is here at the end. Like the Vikings-Lions game, I thought the coaching was a huge factor in that result.
That game, I had so many questions about what was going on in that one. But it's interesting. I mean, speaking of coaching, we already have a couple coaches with new positions for next year coming up,
Yeah,
and it'll be interesting to see how everything kind of shakes out with all these movements in the offseason.
yeah, some coaches getting fired. Some big hires coming up. But let's get started with the big game of the weekend, Vikings Lions on Sunday night. I got a lot to say about this game because I picked the Vikings. Amanda, you picked the Lions. You got that one again. But I think we all expected this game to be a lot more competitive than it was. And I just felt like Kevin O'Connell, I've been praising the Vikings coaching staff all year, John, and I felt like he got thoroughly outcoached by Dan Campbell. Like he tried to match his energy, like going for it on fourth down, three turnovers on downs, not taking field goals. Um, it seemed to backfire in a big way, and the game got out of hand in the second half.
Well, for me personally, it just seemed like a physical team compared to a team that's more athletic, and I think it just showed that like, they ran the ball like ridiculous. And like I said, when it gets to a certain point and you know the game is out of reach, you can definitely saw the players were not there. Like it was just kind
Yeah,
of like, and that's not how you want to go into the playoffs. But also, it's
no,
14, it's two teams, 14-2, fighting for the number one position. The first time it ever happened, so that was a great thing to see. But the conclusion was just like, okay, Minnesota, y'all don't really look like a playoff team today.
yeah.
My
And
biggest issue,
Amanda, your boy Gibbs went crazy.
dude, I have been obsessed with him since the draft. Like he is like they were absolutely right to draft him. He surprises me every week. But my
Yeah,
biggest issue with this game is when they first went for it and they had the turnover on downs in the first quarter, they were only down 7-0. Like,
Mhm.
there's no reason to go for it on fourth there. Like, just take the field goal, call it good. Like, they were in a good position. They were on the Detroit three. Like, I
Yeah,
get analytics and all that, but you're not a team that's been known for being successful at this. Like, don't risk it. Like, you'd be down 4 points if you took the points. And going into the half, I mean, the game was still close. It was 10-6. But
yeah,
instead of doing the typical Green Bay this season, coming in the second half and finally showing up, they took naps during halftime. They had some melatonin, some sleepy time tea or something. Because immediately going into the second half, the possessions for Minnesota downs, field goal, missed field goal, punt downs. Like they quit in the second half. I don't know if
yeah.
someone was like, "Hey guys, you know what? It doesn't matter what happens. We're still in the postseason. Like maybe maybe a first round bye will be rusty. Like maybe we just take it easy in the second half." But something happened at halftime and they quit.
I think, John, I think the analytics and the going for it on fourth down stuff, I think that's okay when you're playing against lesser teams and you can kind of trust that your weapons are better and you're stronger up front than the other team. But in a big game with a division on the line, I think it's too risky to take points off the board. If they kicked 4 field goals, they would have been up 12 to 10 at halftime. Instead, they're trailing. You know what I mean? How do you see that?
Last opportunity to see what your playoff team is going to be. That's pretty much the only thing I can see from it. But I think at the end of the day, like you said, they know they was going to make the playoffs. But some teams maybe feel like we need to play through the playoffs compared to taking that week off. And it sounds bad, but you got to know if you're a team that we want to see what we have every week. We don't want to take this week off and put it in other people's hands for us to be winning. So I don't know. Like, I don't know what exactly they were thinking, but like I said, if you watch the game, you could tell Minnesota kind of just let it go. And I do think it was just a last opportunity for them to see what they could do. Like, okay, we don't go for it on fourth. Let's try these plays. Let's try these plays before the playoffs, because in the playoffs we might need to do these. We haven't seen this all year, so there could be an opportunity to try to get better at something that you haven't tried.
Well, shout out to the Lions defense.
I was just going to say, I don't think people's perception of that defense was for it to be as good as it was going into this game, because all we've heard for the last few months is how many players they've got on IR and how many injuries they have and how they're bringing them in off the street. But they've done enough coaching and developing with these players that they've brought in. That defense was fantastic. Like, I mean, the Lions were very comfortable to win. You didn't see them look panicked for a second. But even with this bad loss for them, having already clinched and already watching all these injuries that happened to playoff teams earlier in the day, like they sat there and watched Jordan Love go down and multiple players on division teams earlier in the day. They probably were like, you know what, we're down, let's just call it. But I mean, they're still a 14-win team. They still had an amazing season. And even Dan Campbell was like, yo, Kevin O'Connell, I'll see you in 2 weeks. Like they very much expect to meet up again. And all they have to do is beat the Rams. And then we have the matchup again with a little bit more on the line.
Tell me what you guys think of this. Conspiracy theory Alex time, real quick.
Yes.
I think Dan Campbell said that on purpose. I think he knows they're going to pick up whatever he says there, I think. And I think that he said that on purpose for 2 reasons. To maybe get the Vikings to look past the Rams a little bit, to give the Rams fuel. The Rams are going to hear those comments and be ready to go in that game at home. And I don't think Dan Campbell wants to necessarily play the Vikings again in the playoffs. He knows their potential, I think he's playing some chess, some mind games there saying that. What do you think, John?
Well, I think he's just a confident guy, and I would have said the same thing. I mean, once you play a team like this, a 14-win team, you're saying that we want the best of the best. We don't want the Rams. We want y'all to come back because we want to come beat y'all again. I think he's just showing his character, because I think he's the one, the guy, like, if you want to be the best, we want to beat the best. So we beat the Vikings to the next. We beat them already. Y'all can say it's a 14-win team. You can say that we didn't have this or we didn't have this, but we want to see y'all again, just to show everybody in the NFL we deserve to be a Super Bowl team. Because all the other stuff about Philly being a good team, Kansas City, no, this is our year. So give us the best, because we know that we're the best. So we don't have to play. We don't want to play down to another team. We don't want to waste our players on maybe a team and somebody get hurt against the Rams, and then no, we want y'all. We're gonna go out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And think about who this coach is. Like Dan Campbell, he is not playing any, no, that man wears his heart on his sleeve, his emotions are on his face. Like he could tell you he feels one way and you would be able to tell if he felt a different way. Like, I don't think that it was a PR stunt at all. I think it was confidence and let's do this shit again. Like that was fun.
Well, whether it was said on purpose for that reason or not, I think it is going to backfire on Minnesota. I really do. I don't think they're going to go into LA and beat the Rams. They've already lost to the Rams this year. They only lost 3 times this year. One of them was at the Rams. So I think the Rams have a good matchup here against the Vikings. And my biggest concern, I know Kevin O'Connell got outcoached and all that, but Sam Darnold looked like shit in this game against Detroit. He looked like he was second-guessing himself. He was overhyped, feeling the pressure. He was overthrowing. He had Justin Jefferson multiple times and just missed him.
There
And
were some really errant throws from him.
yeah,
I think the pressure is a lot. Like this team, I mean, they're not used to being where they're at. And Sam Darnold, I mean, he's overcome a lot of adversity in his career to get to this point, but he seemed to feel everything that was going on and just to be in his head a little bit too much.
yeah. And John, Amik Robertson did a great job on Justin Jefferson. Darnold missed him a few times, but Amik had him locked up really well too.
Yeah, didn't he get a game ball?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So
He
yeah,
earned it. I mean,
nice.
you shut Jets Jefferson down. I mean, you earned that shit. But I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs, 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, went crazy.
3 on the ground, 1 in the air. That was fucking beautiful. And I remember in the draft, because he was one of my favorites, I remember how much shit people were talking about Brad Holmes taking him with the 12th overall pick, saying they reached for him, it was too high, there was no reason to take him, he would still be available in the next round. But nobody's second guessing him now.
No, and David Montgomery goes down and he just takes advantage of that opportunity. 4 touchdowns in the biggest game of the year, and he's so fast. A lot of people are comparing him to Alvin Kamara. He's such a dual threat, John, like passing and receiving and rushing.
Yeah, but the Vikings D play like shit too. I'm sorry. If you watch the cutbacks he was doing, it was like they were literally just trying to play safe. Like I'm watching, and because he was getting holes, but you could see the guys were just like the angles. It was like, and I'm not trying to take anything away from this back because like he had a Pro Bowl year, damn near All Pro year, but it was just watching it. You just kind of like, nah, the Vikings done. like at the end of the game, it was kind of like, okay, I ain't trying to hurt my shoulder. I don't want to really,
Yeah.
you know.
I feel like coaching before was like, yo, try to win. We'll put our best out there, but like, don't risk injuries. We're in the postseason. Let's focus on the games coming up and like just don't push too hard. Like, because I mean, Christian Watson tore an ACL in the game. Like Jordan Love hit his elbow and is dealing with an injury and may not be able to play. Like, I think being the last game of the week put a lot of that shit into perspective. Like, we're already in the postseason. Like, it's one more game if we don't get first seed, but like going into the postseason down a quarterback and your star receiver, maybe not worth the risk. What I think is going to be interesting is how well the Lions have handled this season. Those coordinators are going to be fought over. It's going to be very hard for them to hold on to Aaron Glenn. Just how well he's done with how many players they've had on IR and stuff. I'll be intrigued to see what Detroit looks like next year if their coordinators find new jobs.
Yeah, Ben Johnson is getting all the hype, but Aaron Glenn really opened a lot of eyes in this game. You talk about all the injuries and just the way they played multiple, especially in the red zone, right? Every single time is either a field goal or a turnover on downs. So
they were so good in the red zone.
Yeah. But huge win for the Lions. The first time they've been a 1 seed in the Super Bowl era. They get the bye. They're at home field. They're going to be tough to beat, and that stadium's going to be rocking at Ford Field. So that we knew this was going to be a huge difference for the Vikings. You got to go at the Rams. Are you concerned about that, John, or do you believe the Vikings can go into LA and get that win?
Yeah, I don't see the Rams winning this game. They have a great rookie receiver, but I can't see the whole team. I can't see the 2 LA teams. They got that little thing going on. Maybe 2 LA teams might be playing if they get to a certain thing, and I just don't see it.
If they both win, they both have home field advantage. They gotta work on scheduling at the same field and shit. I don't think it's gonna get there.
That's the biggest thing they really fighting for. We don't really, and I'm not trying to say that, but nobody wants to see the Rams really go really deep. We don't expect that. There's nothing. I think they've done their thing. They got their ring back in the day. Maybe next year you can come back and try, but right now we don't want to see y'all. Georgia is pretty much Stafford. You and Georgia are not so.
I would love an NFC North conference championship. I think that would be so fun.
Nice.
Yeah. Are you saying your Packers are going to get in there?
I mean, Minnesota's still in the running. I think Green Bay is one and done. They've been on my list for weeks. I mean, Jordan Love, Christian Watson, like this team has been injured and just off all season. Green Bay is in the postseason, so yay. But if the Texans or the Steelers make it past round 1, I will be shocked.
let's talk about that game, Bears-Packers. Matt LaFleur was very insistent. He said it multiple times during the game about, and even going into it, about how he wasn't happy with how the Packers had played the last couple weeks, and he wanted to get everything rolling in Week 18 against a bad Bears team. He wanted to get the offense rolling. He got Christian Watson back, and Amanda, they struggled. And on top of that, the injuries. And Jordan Love is probably going to be okay, but that's super scary having him with the elbow injury in that game.
Well, and the way he was shaking it out, like at first it looked like he just like jammed a finger or something, but then I mean hitting your funny bone sucks, especially when it like lingers. So I get why they kept him out for the game. Malik Willis was great though. I mean, no touchdowns, but 136 yards, lost a fumble. But I mean, in a game that didn't really matter, like who cares, sixth seed or seventh seed? Like we can beat good-ish teams, but for me, I'm not feeling the Packers this year. Obviously, I'm rooting for them. I'll be happy if they win, but I think they lose by 20 points in Philly next week.
Well, John, it's tough to overcome losing Christian Watson to, that a major injury in Week 18. You can't ask for worse luck. And then your quarterback gets banged up too. Like, terrible.
Yeah, I just don't see the love from last year. The heart, the passion, the whole year, it was just kind of like he was playing a role this year. I didn't see the passion in him. Like, they won a couple games, you'll see him, but it seemed like he was getting hurt on purpose. And I'm not saying, nobody get hurt on purpose. It was like, oh God, Lee, I got paid. I'm good. I'm not, I don't got to be strong anymore. I don't got to sit. I don't got to be super.
He's not working for a contract this year.
Yeah. And so, I'm like, so it's I just don't see I don't see the Amanda Love in Green Bay right now.
I will say there was a bunch of bullshit early on in this game that might have taken away some of that passion and some of the drive to win this game. Very early on in the game, there was a situation where, was it Dontavian Wicks who caught that ball or Tucker Kraft? It was a throw. He rolled and caught the ball while rolling. The ball never touched the ground. The refs on the field called it a catch. And then replay review was like, no, wait, that wasn't a catch. But even the refs on the field were like everyone who saw it, the ball never touched the ground. It wasn't like, was it bobbled? Did he catch it before it there was no ground contact at all.
That was weird. Yeah.
So replay review said it wasn't a catch. We had to challenge it. We used a challenge. We won the challenge. But from the beginning of the game, it was like we were like fight. And I'm not even just going to say refs. Like there was a missed delay of game against Chicago that would have been 5 yards instead of the first down they got on the next play. There was just a bunch of weird shit going on early in the first quarter that I feel like if I'm fighting with the refs and the replay official gods in the sky turning over plays that were perfectly valid, like I would be frustrated and not give a shit about moving from 7th seed to 6th seed or 6th to 7th. Like at that point, fuck it.
It would be frustrating because they got out to a bad start. They're down 14-3 early. Jaden Reed with an uncharacteristic fumble in their own territory, and at that point, the Packers, to their credit, fought back. I mean, I think you get down 14-3 and then your quarterback gets hurt, at that point, you're kind of like, it's not our day. To their credit, they fought back, but this time, Cairo Santos hit the game winner. Super happy for Caleb Williams. Was clutch, but it's going to be tough at Philly. I don't know if they match up well. My advice is feed Josh Jacobs like crazy. I think that's the key matchup of the game is those two running backs.
Yeah, especially if Jordan Love isn't playing. I guess we'll see if he makes it.
I think he'll play.
I don't know if he'll make it to the whole game.
What do you think, John? I mean, I expect him to play. It just sucks they're without Watson.
I'm hoping he'll play, but like y'all said, your other guy's been playing well also, but it's got to be a team thing. I got to see more. I know it was the last game of the year, and I guess the position in the playoffs doesn't really matter, but it also you play the Chicago Bears, and for people who are Green Bay fans or Bears fans, y'all know how important that game is. It's not like a game. This I know it's like, oh yeah, it don't really matter, but it really does, because this is the game.
Yeah.
Like when I played for South Carolina, we played Clemson. They didn't care what the record was. This is a game you want to win. That's why I'm saying the passion. Like if you have a passion just to beat the Bears, then you're going into the playoffs with that momentum. But you're going to playoffs with the loss to the Bears, one of the worst teams. The defense didn't play as well as it should, and Caleb Williams is going to get some confidence, but I don't know how much confidence as Green Bay would I get from this game, even though it's the last game, but it's going into the playoffs.
But think about how it's been for the Packers. Like throughout history, we have manhandled the division. Like we are generally king of the North. To go from that to being 1-5 in the division, and the one win was a tipped fucking field goal that would have won the last game for the Bears. Like that's fucking embarrassing. We do not deserve to be in the postseason this year. Like I kind of wish we were not in it. And then I mean, this game highlighted. I haven't been a fan of coaching the past couple of weeks. Like really bad play calls. Why were the starters even playing? Like, obviously playing Philly is a worse fate than playing maybe the Commanders on paper, but they shouldn't even have been in. We're in the postseason. Like, don't risk injuries. We talked shit about Detroit doing that last year, and Sam Laporta was this close to missing out on the entire postseason for Detroit. I don't think it was worth the injuries that happened. I was
going to ask you that. Don't you think? I mean, hindsight is 2020, but rest your starters, take the 7th seed, be healthy going into that game.
Like,
real quick
Malik
though,
some time to shine out there. Put Malik out there. Bring in our 4th string practice squad receiver guys.
And
like don't.
If you lost, it's just a loss. But if you come out there with your starters and lose, it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Losing
saying.
the game and your starters. Like,
right.
Yeah.
And Christian Watson, I've been saying this for weeks, that he's great when he plays, but he's always injured. He makes it back for 1 week and then tears his ACL. Like he's not.
That's just bad luck. Was non-contact. Yeah.
Not that he's bad, but now he's not going to be worth anything on the trade market anyway. And I think we should have gotten rid of him in the offseason had he but no one wants a guy with a torn ACL. Like no one's going to pick him up.
Right.
So real quick, Jalen Hurts is still he's still in concussion protocol, has yet to practice. There's a chance Jalen Hurts misses this game. Kenny Pickett is also dealing with a ribs injury. Jalen Hurts better play in this game. But, I mean, we could be looking at Tanner McKee at quarterback for the Eagles.
Tanner McKee is my favorite. I'm a big fan. Totally going back on what I said last week. Love Tanner McKee. I hope we get to see him next week. That would be so nice. Honestly, I would be so down for that. I hope that the Packers purposely lost the game to the Bears and played like shit so that the Eagles would be like, no, let's not rush Hurts back. We can win with a 3rd-string quarterback. And Green Bay actually shows up. That's some Matt LaFleur shit. Like, I feel like the Packers would do that. Dan Campbell, no. But, no, play like shit out there.
John, do you think the Packers, they've been pretty proud of this whole wide receiver by committee thing, but do you think the Packers need to go out and get a true upgrade at receiver, get a true number 1?
Yeah, I don't think it's Tyreek Hill, though.
No, I don't think so. He's got too much personality for Green Bay. That's not going to work.
I think it's definitely a year that they could go find somebody, but I think
Higgins.
Me personally, I want the kind of Aaron Rodgers, I want the Brett Favre type guy. I understand that they have, but they made their receivers great. It's a different thing with Love. Everybody saying he needs a number 1. He needs a number 1. You look at people like Peyton Manning. You look at people like Tom Brady. They made their number 1s. Yeah. It was not like I'm not saying
Davante Adams wasn't Davante Adams until
yes. I'm not saying they weren't good receivers, so I'm not taking that away. Yeah. But you will know a 1,700-yard guy, even if he was a 900-yard guy, they're gonna make him a 1,700-yard. And I don't think Jordan Love has embraced that yet. Of like, look, you're my guy. I don't care what's going on. They're not going to trade you. You're here for 5 years with me or how many years, whatever. I'm going to force you the damn ball, and you're going to be a 1,500-yard guy.
Yeah, and Jordan Love is still not super experienced, right? Mm-hmm. He's still young, and as far as that goes,
a little bit too.
Right.
Yeah, so you can have a star quarterback that turns guys into number 1s and gets all that production, or you can bring in someone like T. Higgins who can get more out of Jordan Love potentially. So that might be the route to go. Are you down with that, Amanda?
I would love T. Higgins.
Yeah.
So as much as I've loved like the Aaron Rodgers connection with different receivers when we had him in Green Bay, like Jordy Nelson, fantastic. Davante Adams, obviously. I feel like we need a James Jones. Like
Hmm.
a guy who's like an on-team leader. He knows his style. He knows what he's doing. He's not young. No one needs to build his confidence. Like he needs that guy who's like, no, just throw it up. I'll get to the ball. Like let's do this shit together. Like that type
Yeah,
of personality, I feel like would be good for him. And I don't know,
like a
like a
Tyler
Mike Evans,
Lockett.
but obviously Mike Evans is not available. So
Well, like a Tyler Lockett or a Jacoby Myers type.
Tyler Lockett might retire though.
Yeah, he's old,
I
but
know.
something like
That
that.
makes
You know
me
what I
so
mean?
sad.
Because
I have loved his career.
yeah. So for me, I wanted the Bears. This is my issue. Yay, we beat the Packers. Now, who gives a shit? Let's be real. We got to get better from this abysmal season in 2024. We fired Eberflus. John was saying you got to be happy with that. You got him out. We fired Shane Waldron. I'm not happy though. Fire Ryan Poles. Now they're saying Ryan Poles is going to be the guy who hires the head coach. Great. He's going to go hire Cliff Kingsbury or Kellen Moore. Watch. He's going to hire a terrible head coach, and we're going to suck. This head coach has to be a home run hire.
Would you want Ben
I'm not.
Johnson?
So, everyone, all the Bears fans want Ben Johnson. He's going to come to Chicago and be a bust, in my opinion. Like, and does he even want to come to Chicago? The Bears have built this reputation of being a joke of a franchise at this point. Like the top head coaches don't want to come to Chicago, I don't think. You know what I mean? So it's a tough spot to be in. For me, my ideal head coaches, I want Mike Vrabel, I want John Gruden, or I want Pete Carroll. I want an established winner, someone who's done it before, a leader of
Carroll.
men, a locker room guy. Do you think
I,
any of those would be a good fit, John?
I think all of them would be, but also, like I said, it's got to be the mentality of the players that they bring in. I think
Yeah,
that's going to be the biggest thing. I think Chicago has. I like Caleb Williams, but I think he's one of those. He loves football, but he loves what football can do for him compared to the
yeah,
game. Like really, I want to see him just sit in the pocket and be a quarterback. I want to see him more, not knocking the nails. I don't care about him painting his nails. That's is what it is. But I want him more. He just seemed like he having a good time in life. And I know that sounds bad, but it's kind of like football doesn't really. Not saying it doesn't matter to him. I can't say that, but he always seemed like very professional, as in it's a job and not a love. I'm good at
yeah.
and I can do this, always smiling and having a good time. Okay, we need some serious shit from you. Like we need a quarterback that can sit in there and like we're gonna take sacks. I need you to talk shit to the old lineman, not tell the punter that he ain't gonna punt, and then y'all end up punting more yards passing. It's like certain situation is I understand you got to enjoy what you do for a living, but also this is something that can be a classical situation for you as a quarterback coming from USC and always being in the realm of something like this. Being in Chicago, you literally can have a statue of you coming. Like if you win one Super Bowl here, you're good for the rest of your life.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're talking about head coaches. Doug Peterson's available, Alex.
I'm all right. Skip.
Totally kidding.
No, thanks. I mean, he's a former Super Bowl champion, but no, I'm all right.
That's some shit Chicago would do. I could see them absolutely hiring Doug Peterson after being fired with a 22-29 record as the Jags head coach. I'm disappointed for the Jags. Like the owner in the offseason before the season started, he said this is the most talented Jags team ever assembled. If you look at individual talent and the names on this team and the potential for these players, I mean, Brian Thomas Jr., they've got amazing edge rushers and Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker, like running backs, Etienne, Tank Bigsby, like they have so much
Yeah.
individual talent on the team. So what a disappointing season for them to finish where they're at. And like, I mean, 4-13 with all that talent on the team. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence, we know how good he is when he's healthy.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
need some bubble
Who?
wrap.
Who you said?
Trevor
Trevor Lawrence.
Lawrence.
Who?
I said when he's healthy. He's not used to being on the field.
Who y'all talking about?
Anyway,
He's another guy like Caleb Williams. He said when he got drafted, he was like, football, I could kind of take it or leave it. He's got that like surfer mindset where it's a job, not a love of the game thing. That was always a concern.
well, where
But
I
go
was
ahead.
going to go with this is I feel like the Jags open head coaching position is going to be a lot more appealing than the one in
Yeah.
Chicago because of the
Yeah, it
young
could
talent
be.
and the potential of that team. I can see people wanting to take this team that should be ready to go. It needs a little bit of love on defense, a bit maturity developed on the offense, but I feel like this team is more complete and less. I just feel like there's less baggage with the Jags for a head coaching job. So I think you guys might lose out on one of those coaches you want to this job.
So you feel like
Ben,
Jacksonville has a better nucleus. They just need a leader.
yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think Lawrence is the catalyst that they need to put some fire under him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just
Could
being
you imagine Pete Carroll just on his ass, like
Yeah.
making him pull his head out of his ass and get it together?
I think him and
Yeah.
Pete have the same mindsets about life, period.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
not just like go lucky, you know, happy go lucky like that. But I think that kind of personality with him will help him. I think
Yeah.
Pete's personality, because he's so laid back and cool, he can get him into the game in a fun way. Because
Yeah.
like Trevor Lawrence doesn't look happy when he plays. I
No.
mean, not saying he isn't, because you know, like he went from Sunshine to Clemson, you know, doing all this running and fun, and it looked fun. He looked scared. He looked like he's just playing football because, you know, it's what he's good at, and people is blessed to see him play. But now I think Pete Carroll, that was a great thing, because I think he would work great, because just their personalities, like they can just sit in the office and have a Zen moment and just chill and just be like, look,
Yeah.
regardless. So we're going to win, but we just need you to do this. And I think he the kind of coach that I think Doug Peterson was just a little too tough, like a little too hard around the edges. And
Yeah.
they brought it to class, and not saying in a bad way. I'm pretty sure they had a good relationship. But, you know, I think Pete Carroll has that more relationship with his players, like Reggie Bush, you know, Liner, you know, like the guys in the past that he know they're stars, but he know how to handle stars. He know how to say,
Yeah.
I can get you to the next point, but we need you to do this. Because he has that resume of star players that he has, you know, Heisman Trophy winner, all the stuff he has. And even from a college perspective, he can talk to them like almost that way and get them to be a good pro.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what he did for Russell Wilson is the head coach
Exactly.
quarterback connection needs to be aligned.
Well, and think of all the big personalities he dealt with at the same time in Seattle. Like
Yeah.
Bennett, Sherman, Marshawn Lynch, like he handled all of those big personalities really well and still, you know, had the good connection with the quieter, more mellow guys like Russ. And
Mhm.
I loved Pete Carroll for Chicago. I thought he would be good for Chicago. He would help Chicago out until this job became available. And then I was looking at it and thinking about it, and I was like, I like Pete Carroll for Jacksonville more.
I respect that.
Yeah. The Bears need someone like Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel, in my opinion, would be perfect for this team. They need an ass kicker. They need someone that's going to be a no-nonsense and get this thing, you know, get these guys being professionals. Eberflus and Waldron were way too relaxed, and they allowed a lot of complacency, a lot of bad habits. So it's going to be interesting who the Bears hire. We're all excited to see who that's going to be. Do I have any faith that they're going to get it right? None whatsoever. So the life of a Bears fan.
Do y'all want to talk about that Jags Colts game at all? Joe Flacco had a great game. He heard me talking shit about needing some WD-40 for those joints. Throws for 264 yards just to spite me. One touchdown, no turnovers for Joe. They pulled off the win in OT. 2 overtime games in week 18. That's some good shit. I like that.
This is
Fighting
wild.
for absolutely nothing. But it was a good game.
I think it was a good
Yeah.
game. Thomas Jr. I think that guy is going to be amazing once they get a
Absolutely.
quarterback that can make him like he was just playing this year, and I don't think people understand. Your rookie year is kind of like the year you're just playing. First of all, you don't have to worry about class no more. You're getting your schedule down as a professional guy, and so the first year is just like, you know, I'm just tricking off. Really, I'm just out here just using my natural thing. So next year, bringing in a coach like, you know, a coach and having the players and having him and Trevor really getting to play together, this guy can be an amazing. I mean, I can see another Chase, like Jamar Chase in him, because I don't know what LSU be putting in them boys, but I'm like, dude, they do some crazy work.
They build them right now.
Yeah, I mean, everyone at the draft was talking about Neighbors, Odunze, Marvin Harrison, and for whatever reason, Brian Thomas Jr. fell. but you could see it in his skill set. In college, we knew that he was going to be a threat, a home run hit in the NFL. And I love him for Jacksonville. It's a great pick. And yeah, if they can get it right, it's all about coaching in Jacksonville. The talent is there, like Amanda said.
So speaking about talent and rookies, let's talk about Anthony Richardson real quick.
Okay.
I know this game didn't matter, but I feel like we haven't gotten to know Anthony Richardson any more than we did last year. Like last year, we gave him, a bit of a break because of the big injury. But we had issues with him this year too. So I feel like we're going into year 3 with this guy, and Superman-like physical traits. He can be amazing. Like he's unable to play every down for a season though. So I feel like he hasn't had time to develop into what everyone thought he could be. And I do think he probably starts the season as their starter next year. But if he can't survive the season without another injury next year, I feel like he's going to be another Andrew Luck situation.
You have to bring in a veteran that isn't Flacco, that isn't 40. You have to bring in a reliable veteran that can potentially steal the job from Richardson when they have them compete in the preseason. Because and I don't like keeping Shane Steichen, John. I would have fired him. I would have brought in a whole new staff, and I would have brought in someone to compete with Richardson. Them staying status quo, I don't like what they're building there.
Well, we still got the offseason to go, but I think Anthony Richardson has become a quarterback first. I think we're like what Amanda said. He's so physically gifted. That's all we look at in Florida. It's not like he was an 11-win guy in Florida. We acting like it was his athleticism that turned everyone on. Everybody like, oh my God, we might have another Cam Newton. But Cam was a Heisman Trophy winner. Cam was a guy that won a national championship. Cam was a guy that, was in love with football, like in love with the passion of being a great quarterback. Yes, but you don't see that in Anthony Richardson. You need to find someone, and I don't know if they need to get a quarterback coach, but I'm talking about strictly just a quarterback coach for him. I don't care if you go get Randall Cunningham just to come in there for like a week and just sit there.
That'd be fun.
No, and just sit there and talk to him about being a quarterback, but really being a quarterback, not worrying about your physical attributes don't matter. Like right now, it doesn't matter. Everyone loves your size, but we ready to move you to tight end if we have to, because we don't want to waste money on a pick, because you are that gifted that we see you playing another position, but we need you to be a quarterback. Like we'll find a good receiver for you. We need you to really stick in the pocket, do your reads, and literally just become a quarterback. Because we just like literally is strictly because of his physical attributes. And Amanda hit it dead on the head. That's all we're waiting for, to see this amazing quarterback. But you look at Daniels, you look at, I guess you look at I can't even think of his name right now. But look at old boy from Texans also. You see how there are athletic quarterbacks, Stroud. You see how they're athletic quarterbacks, but their athleticism isn't what we're proud of. We're proud of how they're able to manage a game and how they're able to get the ball in hand. The reason why he's getting hurt is because you're trying to man up on everybody compared to being a quarterback. Like, stop trying to man up, trying to do all this stuff. You're trying to hit people. You already tapped out. So we already know where your mindset was at one point. We need you to focus in on, look, all these accolades, and people gonna get tired of it. People gonna get tired of it.
If he doesn't work on finding receivers that he trusts and trusting that O-line and quit putting his body at risk, he's not going to make it through year 3. He's not going to be a starter after another year from now if his career continues. He's missed 17 of 32 games since he was drafted.
Wow.
Like that's
he needs to be smarter. I would bring in someone like Cam Newton, have him talk to him, bring in someone. Russell Wilson is so good at that ability to slide, someone that, had to adjust and learn how to protect themselves and try to get Anthony Richardson to start doing that.
John, Joe Flacco's not going to be the guy for that conversation.
Right.
Who?
Joe Flacco's not the guy for that conversation.
Oh, no.
His style of play and the way he came into it very, very different.
Yep. John, what are your thoughts on how the NFC South went down? The Falcons, Panthers, Bucks, Saints.
I think all y'all know I was just cheering for Mike Evans. Being a Falcons fan, we're so used to this. Like, it's so used to, and they came out so flat. I mean, it was just like watching the game was like y'all are paying the Carolina Panthers. Like, And I'm texting one of my, because I didn't go to the game this week, but I texted one of my homeboys at the game, and I'm just like, these dudes are playing so flat. And I'm like, I don't know if they're mad because they didn't make the Pro Bowl, because Jesse Bates didn't make it. Man, he's a alternate, I don't know what was going on, but it just didn't look good the whole game. And I'm not knocking the coach for this. I'm knocking the players because you got an opportunity to win a game and go to the playoffs and come out flat and letting 38 points be scored on you by Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers is not a good team. Like if you watch the game, and the whole season I've been saying the same thing. We got to do better with the linebacker core this year. Like next year, if they want to be a good team, the linebacker core. If you watch the games, the running game, Carolina was running straight down them. It was just like if they're not blitzing the linebacker down the middle, if they're not blitzing on the outside, and then Jimmy Lake's job is very shaky now because you see him, you line up a outside linebacker in Judon, and he got to cover a back out of the flat. It is a wrap. It was just a go wrap. I was like, I've been in those kind of situations before, and you can have confidence in yourself, but you got to have common sense in yourself. There's no way in hell I'm going to be able to carry this on a fly route. It's no way. Like I saw him. Dude, that's a touchdown. I seen Judon trying to catch him like this. Sometimes you got to just take it. It was just like the play calling was bad. It's the whole team, but I'm not knocking Raheem Morris. It's his first year. I'm glad they're giving him another year and not, throwing him away like Pete Pierce and, Mayo, because they're confident in him. But also, this team has a lot of work to do. And I think it's more on the attitude and to know that they're good because they have the players. I mean, they have the players to be a good team. And it is very tough to watch being a fan here. Now, Tampa Bay is – I'm with Amanda. I'm a fan now. I am, and this is
a bone to pick though. They were stressing me out until the start of the fourth quarter. Mike Evans only had 50 yards, and I was like, "Give him the fucking."
They were playing around too. Yeah,
they were fucking around until the very end. I was like, "Please get him his numbers. That's all that matters."
That's what I like about them. I like about them because they still were able to do what they had to do. When you see a team, that's what I'm saying with Atlanta. They never did what they had to do.
Yeah.
Like, people watching again because it was 13-3 and it was like, okay, well, there's a possibility 19. Okay. I'm like, dude, Tampa Bay is a second half team. The Falcons just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then when I saw it going to overtime, I said, yeah, this game is not going. And then, Tampa already won. So it wasn't really anything to win. But it's kind of like the dumbest thing I've seen, though, when Clowney said, Clowney was like, oh, y'all, I'll see y'all in Cabo. I'm like, why y'all celebrating that y'all didn't make the playoffs? I'm like, some stuff, that's what I'm saying. That's how corny it is now in football. Like, y'all celebrating losing out of the playoffs. But y'all took somebody with y'all and y'all feel good, but y'all really didn't because Tampa did. And also Atlanta did. Like, y'all had nothing to do with that. They just lost the last game. You had literally y'all had nothing to do with it. Like, it just happened that y'all won the game, but Atlanta lost the game and Tampa won the game. So whatever, man. Cowboy. I'm like, dude, like that is so corny. Like it's different.
So you're gonna be there too. Like, what are you doing?
That's what he's saying. Like, but I'm like, you knew y'all weren't going to the playoffs, and I guess thinking that y'all knocked somebody else.
It's not like they played spoiler though. Like it's not their fault the other team's not going.
It's not a flex.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
I will say you talked about Atlanta. The Panthers are a better team than their record. Like, look how close they played some of these postseason teams. Like
they've been playing better lately. The last 5-6 games, Bryce Young especially.
Yeah, if you had told me in October that he would have put up 44 points against Atlanta in Week 18, I would have laughed.
That was the best game of his career. Like
he had a great game. Yeah. 3 touchdown passes, 2 touchdown runs. Big overtime win. Like he did good. And I think him getting benched was the best thing for him.
He handled it really well.
I think it was too soon. I think being benched let him kind of reevaluate and work on some things. I mean, 4 wins in the last 9 games. Like he's definitely developing, and I do think being benched was good for him. I like Dave Canales there. I feel like he's doing the right things and developing Bryce Young. So I'm interested to see how they look moving forward into next year. I do think Bryce Young is the starter moving into next season, and I would be shocked if he's still trying to compete for a job.
I want to see if the Falcons can find a true middle linebacker. I
Mhm.
think
Yeah.
I think Caden Ellis is a great player. I mean, I think he's a great football player. I mean, he reminds me of Bierman 2.0, but he's better, way better than Bierman. And he damn near leads the same team in sacks. So if you can get him being an outside linebacker, Judon, nice to meet you. But I don't know what's the I don't know what it looked like now in free agency for middle linebackers, but if you can find a middle linebacker that it's a true middle linebacker, because I'm saying if y'all, and I was saying this the whole year, so don't say I just saying it for this game. If you watch how the linebackers tackling people 5, 6, 7 yards down the field, they're not natural linebackers because you see play action, you'll see them come up so much and then not get back soon enough. So they get beat over the middle a lot from, slant routes and things like that. So if they can get a good middle linebacker and somebody with attitude, I mean, somebody that can look, motherfucker, we doing this, and he need people. Because if you watch Caden, he's focused on his job. If you want to get a true middle linebacker, you need somebody that can tell this guy, you go here,
Yeah.
or somebody that can change up. I think that one of the best players I played with was Patrick Peterson, but me and him, this is me like playing in the 3-4 for the first time since my rookie year, but our communication skills were great. And then that helped me communicate with everybody else. And even like having Carlos Dansby, somebody that can talk and knows the middle linebacker position, and he can tell everybody what to do. And I just don't see that. I see AJ Terrell's kind of doing his thing. I see Hughes, the other cornerbacks, looking like trash, like Alford looking like trash out there. But it's just like you have two great players, and then you have everyone else. And it don't. And I don't ever see anybody get in someone's face and be like, "No, that's your job. You got to do that." Get it out. It's kind of like, okay. And also, with the receivers, if they can get like Tyreek Hill might be good in Atlanta. I'm just saying because they don't have that home run guy. I was looking at a stat at the backs, and BJ Robinson should be a guy that have 40 plus, at least 3 or 4 40 plus runs. And I think the reason because they're not having that is because of the play calling, and not in a bad way, but if they ran the power play, like if you see with Derrick Henry, if you see with Saquon, they run the power play, so the safeties have to come up. And so by the time they hit the second tier of the defense, there ain't nobody there. So they just got the safety to the corner. But with Atlanta, they run a stretch play. So a lot of times the safety's just sitting there waiting. The linebackers are sitting there waiting to see where they make their mind up. And he have to do like 3 or 4 cuts before he can get into the groove. He still get about 7 yards here or there. Saquon had 40 yards or over. I think he had 7. 40 yards or over for Derrick Henry. I think he has 5. 20 yards or over, 17 for Saquon. 20 yards or over for what is his name? Derrick Henry, 19. That is why they have damn near 2,000 yards, because they're running that power play. Everybody's coming up to try to hit them because you're trying to stop them before they get to steam. That one guy misses, and then you just see him. That was surprising to me because he had no runs over 40 and only 4 runs over 20.
Wow. Do you think part of that was Kirk Cousins? They didn't respect the pass. They didn't respect Kirk, so they're playing the run.
I think it's just because the offense they're running. They're running from the little short, hand it off here. So it's no power. Like you see the Eagles run the power. You see Baltimore having a fullback. You just see different stuff that we believe in our running back. But I think they're more intrigued of Bijan is a home run guy, so let's let him make stuff himself. You know what I mean? And that's just not football. Like really, right now, you want to get a great running game.
Yeah, have to make like 6 moves to get like 5 yards, 10 yards. Yeah.
Exactly.
Amanda, how are you feeling about Tampa Bay going into the playoffs? They're going to host a playoff game. They got the Commanders, though. That's going to be a tough matchup.
I love this matchup. I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be a great game. it was interesting watching Dan Quinn in the Commanders matchup. He said he didn't care about playoff seeding, but I mean they still, I guess, mailed in the win over Dallas. They pulled Jaden Daniels out in the third quarter. I think with his propensity for being injured on and off this season, that was a good call. But I I do think him being a rookie is about to catch up with him. I think it's a lot of pressure to make the postseason. I don't know if another team has surprised me as much as the Commanders did this season. Maybe the Broncos.
Hmm.
Actually, no, I think the Broncos surprised me a little bit more. But I think they had an amazing season. I just think the veteran mindset of Tampa Bay, like they've been here. Baker's been working for this for a long time. I think they have a little bit more in the game, more on the line here.
Yeah.
I think they've wanted it longer, so I feel like Tampa Bay will be able to pull it off, but I'm really happy for Tampa Bay. The way Baker Mayfield, if people aren't catching the ball or he's not making good throws, the way he'll pick that team up and put it on his back, I'm
Hmm.
just really glad he has gotten the opportunity that he's gotten after overcoming, like, how many teams was he bounced between his first few years in the NFL? I think it's just a
Yeah.
really good example, and his mindset is just so impressive to me.
Yeah, I love it for Baker, Mike Evans, that whole team. Um, they're going to be fun. John, the Commanders are a potential upset. Jaden Daniels is definitely capable of it, but a rookie in his first playoff start, I think we trust Tampa Bay to win a hard-fought, close game, probably, right?
No, I got Jaden. How
Okay.
Tampa played this last game, and I know they were really wanting to get Mike Evans into the game. Uh,
Hmm.
I know that might have took away from their regular offense. I think if Bucky Irvin plays well, I can see them sticking in the game. But this is definitely going to be a game. I think that thing about it, Amanda, having a rookie, we're just going to do whatever. Like we're just going to try to get this ball. We're going to try to outscore them in the first half because I was texting someone and I said, Tampa's a great second half team, but if they can score 21 points on this Tampa defense early, I can see them walking away with this win. With a
I was
base,
going to say the defense in Tampa didn't show up till the second half of the game. So that
right.
defense needs to
Yeah.
play the whole game in order to beat the Commanders. Otherwise, I mean,
You're talking about Rattler, and I'm not knocking Rattler at all, but you seen how, and like I said, I don't know if there was more focus on getting that 1,000 yards, and it wasn't really, then they realized, oh shit, we're not in the game.
yeah.
Let's get back, and not saying they won't come. Just that mentality kind of scared me about Tampa because I
The
thought,
offense
Yeah.
didn't do anything till the fourth quarter.
yeah, I
I
thought,
thought the
Yeah.
same thing.
They're definitely scary. Like you don't know if the real Bucks show up. Baker's capable of throwing for 4 touchdowns. They're capable of putting up 30 plus. But we've also seen them lose to the Cowboys, them play around with the Panthers and the Saints, and so if they don't fully show up, the Commanders are definitely capable of stealing this one.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna trust Baker and Mike Evans and these guys. They've got the experience. They've been there before, but you can't take this Commanders team lightly. They've got a lot of talent. They can put
mhm.
up points too.
Top five offense, top 10 defense, candidate
Yeah.
for coach of the year. Like this Commanders team is good.
Dan Quinn's been there before. Yeah.
I think you end up seeing how young a team is when they get to the playoffs for the first time. I feel like
Mhm.
very rarely have we been surprised by a rookie in the postseason. I feel like we
Yeah.
we tend to get what you expect from a young team in the postseason.
But if Jaden Daniels wins this and
Good for
pulls out
him.
in
Yeah.
Tampa, yeah,
Like
that'll
I'm not
be
arguing with how talented he is and how well that team has done this year, but I normally veterans win out in the postseason, and I have picked against the Chiefs in the postseason, hoping other things would happen and been wrong quite a few times.
John. If the Steelers could have just beat the Bengals, they would have avoided at the Ravens and then at Houston, which is a very winnable game now. Instead, Steelers at Ravens. That's a tough matchup. I don't know. Like I know it's Steelers Ravens rivalry, a lot of hate, but I got the Ravens. I got a lot of trust in the Ravens. I'm not feeling Pittsburgh lately.
yeah. If you look at I think we were so hung up on how it started with when Russ came in. We
Yeah,
realizing like he lost like 5 games now. It's like
Yeah.
it wasn't a great upgrade. It was a great upgrade at the time because we was like, oh, he's going to do better than him, and he came out looking good. But this game, I mean, the Bengals have been a amazing last half of the season team. I mean, they got the leaders in receiving, the leader in passing,
Sack,
Yeah.
passing yards.
so but it's
Yeah.
like too little, too late. So
Yeah.
and for them to lose to them, not saying they can't. No, they can't beat Baltimore. I'm saying trying to lie to myself. I don't. I don't see.
Rolling into Baltimore on a 4-game skid is
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sitting here trying to think like, man, no, because with that Baltimore defense playing good and everyone seemingly healthy,
Yep.
and
Yeah. they're going to get blown out. I think that's going to be a very boring game.
Yeah, Pittsburgh defense hasn't been playing well, and I think they were going to control the ball with Derrick Henry. The third quarter, I think we'll know that this is pretty much Baltimore's game.
Yeah. I have a question for you, John. Who are you starting in that game? Are you rolling with Russ? Or are you going to stick Justin Fields in and hope it gets you off the 4-game skid?
Personally, I wouldn't have a choice but to go out with my decision.
Yeah.
So Russ has been there before, even though, and every now and then he'll shine.
Yeah.
And hopefully, Pickens can show up because Pickens, he's a few games back from an injury. So now he should come out and not be scared and just go. Humphries is playing awesome. Hamilton's playing. That's what I'm saying. It's like their defense has changed from giving 25 points to 16 points. It's just like, it's different now. They're also a healthy team and seemingly so.
I mean, wait, you mentioned Pickens though. Can we talk about his performance in this game?
Yes,
he
ma'am.
and Russ were, I'm not even going to say different pages. They were on different books. One of their books was written in Spanish. One of their books was written in English. 6 targets, 1 catch for 0 yards.
Yeah.
He had a rough game. Pat Freiermuth had a great game. I was rooting for him all game because he was about all they had on offense. I mean, Najee Harris was there, but Pickens
Najee is not somebody going to win a game for you, though.
I said he was there. I didn't say he was. He was present. He raised his hand at roll call.
I wasn't going to bring the name up. I was going to say.
He had more than 50 yards. Okay, I mean, it's something. Compared to George Pickens, I do not like Pickens and Russ together. I think it's a horrible, horrible pairing.
An old man with a young man. I think it's just the attitudes. Like, people don't understand, like, a lot of the stuff, you can see the chemistry. You can see the chemistry. I think with Justin Fields, they had a better chemistry because they were around the same age.
Yeah.
So they might listen to the same music. so they can kind of talk to each other. They probably called each other bro or twin or something like that. Russ,
they're out there bopping to Kendrick Lamar.
Hey son, how you doing, son?
Yeah, son.
Like, totally different chemistry,
Russ needs Mike Williams. Mike Williams has been stepping up a little bit. He's made some nice catches. Yeah.
Yeah. That would make more sense. Russ has got like the Sunday sermon playing in his speakers. Meanwhile, Justin and George are over there listening to the new Kendrick Lamar album. Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I mean, Ravens beat them by 17 in Baltimore. I expect the same thing. I expect a double-digit win there. The Chargers won, and now they go to Houston. I think I'm going to speak for all of us. I think we all got Chargers going into Houston and stealing this one. John, are you with us on that?
It's actually a rational pick, and it's going to sound bad, but I'm putting Harbaugh over
D'Amico.
Yes, I don't want to, but
he's been there before, right?
And Stroud is not Stroud this year. I mean, his confidence level is just not there. Taking a lot of hits this year, getting up from, and I think just losing so many receivers. And
Tank Dell is huge.
I think the mental part of the game, losing Diggs, losing his best friend, it's like, dude, it's kind of like I can go through this, but I want these guys to go with me. Like, I don't have these guys. So how much pressure do I need on myself? So I think the pressure has finally got to him because this is a real NFL now. Now you're the guy. Like, everybody's falling down left and right. So you're the one that's got to pick this team up and shit. But I can't see them going, Dale. It's just tough. Being a young guy, having a great year as a rookie coming in your second. I don't really think it was a slump. It was just like, dude, my plans didn't work. Like I say, you make plans, God laughs.
My issue
Yeah.
with the Texans, they're on my one and done list. Is the same with the
Yeah.
Packers. They're 1-5 against teams with a winning record. The Packers are
Yeah.
0-5 against the top 3 teams in the NFC. Like there's just you've already proven that you cannot beat these teams in the regular season. Why would the postseason be any different when there's more pressure, more eyes on you?
Coming in on a losing streak.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, they pulled off a win against a 3-win team, but like no, like that's no one's impressed by that. Like it's just
Yeah.
CJ Stroud has regressed, and it's really hard to put your money on them, especially like when you're looking at how much these other teams have stepped up late in the season to get to the postseason. I expect the Steelers, the Texans, and the Packers all just like we'll try again next year. I do like some of the defensive players on these teams. I just don't think that's enough to carry the offense.
Yeah. It's going to be tough. Yeah, any team that's coming in on a multiple game losing streak, you want to be playing your best football at the end of the year going into the playoffs. And when you're backing in on a losing streak like the Steelers, like the Texans, like the Packers, I mean, for Green Bay, you can talk about the injuries, you can talk about whatever, but
off all season.
you should not have lost at home to a bad Bears team. You know what I mean? And that's a bad omen going into the playoffs. And then you're playing at Philly. That's just asking for a lot. That's why I'm worrying about the Vikings because Sam Darnold's coming off such a bad game. They got blown out. They're playing a team that's beat them earlier in the year. I'm picking the Rams. I might be wrong here. Amanda, who are you taking here? Vikings at Rams?
I think I'm on the fence about that one. I think I might have. I made my bracket. I do not remember who I picked there. Let me.
You don't have to make your official pick, but like, are you worried about that game? How do you see it? You know what I mean?
Whoever wins that one is getting knocked out in the next round. I think that one doesn't matter.
I don't know.
I don't like either of those teams to go beyond the second round. So
I trust the Rams more than I do the Vikings. Maybe I'm crazy, but I just feel like Stafford with Puka, with Cooper Kupp, Sean McVay
I have
head
the
coach.
Rams winning. If you top corner,
Yeah.
I got the Rams. I couldn't remember. Like, I don't think I picked Minnesota, but just to double check, whoever wins is losing to Detroit in round 2. So
No, Detroit's going out right away. That's been decided.
no. Hey, Alex, how many games back did you finish this season? Because you picked Minnesota over Detroit.
Let's see. Was I
29?
29? Hey, I didn't get 30. I said I wasn't going to get 30 games down, John. And I didn't get 30
so disappointed in
games
you.
down.
He's not mad. He's just disappointed.
But John, I got my ass kicked in the regular season last year, too. My real season starts in the playoffs. I'm a playoff team. I'm not a regular season team.
You won by 1 game. We picked the Super Bowl differently.
Hey, I mean, that's kind of what you want to do.
Amanda sweeps me in the regular season, but I get revenge in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Not even running by 1 game. 29 games, motherfucker.
Whoever wins by 1 in the postseason wins the Super Bowl. So
the Super Bowl is my birthday week. I got that shit locked down this year.
So yeah.
But I mean, do we even need to talk about the Chiefs Broncos game? That shit was funny. Denver was so excited.
That was so fun.
Chiefs are so soft.
Well, it doesn't matter that none of the Chiefs players were actually on the field. Denver was so happy just to beat the logo. Like they didn't even care who it was.
Yeah.
So true.
They were so excited.
So many highlights. Like, yeah. I'm like, y'all don't stop.
Bro, that doesn't count.
Chiefs fans can say whatever they want. They were scared to death of the Cincinnati Bengals. That's why they sat all their guys, made sure they got their ass kicked by. They'd rather get their ass kicked by a division rival Broncos than play the Cincinnati Kitty Cats in the playoffs. They wanted no part of Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase.
Well,
I love it.
Let's talk about this Broncos team. We talked about coming into the playoffs on a losing streak. This Broncos team had a great week 18. Now they got to go to Buffalo.
No shot. I mean, it could be competitive a little bit, but I have a lot of faith in the Bills. Amanda's AFC team. John, Bills are going to win this, right? A rookie, Bo Nix. I mean, I got a lot more faith in Jaden Daniels than Bo Nix.
Yeah, I think this is one of these games that supposed to be a first round game, and hopefully see a good game. Like a good game to me would be like 28-7, something like that. I just don't want to see a super duper blowout. Like I don't want it to be uncomfortable blowout because it is a playoff game, and we do want to see some kind of good football. Denver has a great defense, and
and Bo Nix surprises me. He is a confident dude.
Yeah.
He's like a little dude, but he's not actually young. I
mean, he looked great. That offense looked great against the Chiefs backups. Like the Bills
defense made him look so good.
Yeah. We can't overreact. Buffalo's going to win that one. And then we're going to get the great matchup of Bills-Ravens. And I'm really looking forward to a potential Chargers-Chiefs. I think that would be a great playoff game too. So
I think that this Week 18 matchup with the Bills benching their starters as they should might have hurt Josh Allen's MVP case.
Yeah, that's tough. Like, look, Lamar has done
Lamar has the lead in every statistical numerical category, but he played an extra week.
I think, John, what do you think of this? Because Lamar deserves it. Again, Lamar should win another MVP. But you know how Jordan and LeBron, you could win MVP almost every year in their prime. And you see the Karl Malone win one. You see, and so maybe voter fatigue, Josh Allen gets it. It is close, but Lamar should be MVP, right?
Personally, I thought he had it the whole year. The only person that was going against me was Amanda. So I'm just saying personally, even with him having, bringing in a running back, he still got his. I mean, he just made the running back better. Like that's what people don't understand. People thinking that the running back made him better. No, he made the running back better because his numbers went up too. And think about his 4 picks, 3 of them really weren't his fault. So he only really got 1 pick for the whole year. I just feel like let's just look at football now and not look at him being a 2-time MVP. All his numbers are better this year than they were
than previous MVPs. Yeah,
I think he wins on the numbers, but I think if you're looking at tape and who he's throwing to and the plays he's having to make, like who's got the better O-line? The Ravens. Who's got better receivers? The Ravens. Like I feel like Josh Allen has done about the same.
Well, Derrick Henry opens up that offense so much. It makes it easy to a point.
That's kind of my thing is they have more weapons. So I feel like Josh Allen deserves it. Lamar Jackson's fucking amazing, but is he the most valuable player on that team? There's so many talented people on the Ravens that I feel like it has helped bolster those numbers. Like
but there's no way this Raven team we've been talking about being in the Super Bowl without Lamar. It's not even even there's nobody that can rush the ball at him. There's nobody that can control the team. There's nobody that has the passion that brings the best out of everyone else. If they had to literally just sit on and say let's be a running team, they would not be. We wouldn't even be talking about it. If something happened to Josh Allen, people are like, oh well, it's the Buffalo. We didn't thought they were going to win the Super Bowl anyway. Something happened to Lamar, automatically they're going to go from like negative 1,000 to plus. Like it's just like a big difference. Like Josh Allen. We're saying MVP, but I'm not sure if we're saying Super Bowl. Baltimore, we're saying MVP plus a Super Bowl this year. Josh Allen is not – Buffalo is not the team we're thinking is going to win the Super Bowl anymore. And
Amanda is. Bills fans are.
I don't think they're the team to beat to go – I can't see them in the Super Bowl with Kansas City, not saying they won't, but – If they lose Lamar Jackson, even if they lose Josh, neither one of these teams be talked about. But I know for a fact if they get I don't know. I'm seeing.
For me, it's like who is the offense for the Ravens? There's many good players on it. You take Josh Allen is the offense for Buffalo.
I think it's both. I think if you lose Josh Allen,
the Bills this year. These numbers are too fucking good to give it to one guy.
Because we saw McNair, Peyton Manning share one. Barry Sanders talked about. I think Barry Sanders said that he shared one with Brett Favre. I don't know if that's true or not. He said something like that in '97. I don't know, but like, yeah. I think they split one with Brett Favre. I'm not sure on that, but like Saquon is in the conversation. Joe Burrow had a great year. Yeah. So if it were up to me, I mean, let's do a three-way. Let's do Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Saquon. 3
Talk about
MVPs
three
this
ways
year.
on the podcast, Alex. That's inappropriate.
But yeah, I mean, a great year of football. The playoffs are right on deck. We could talk about this forever, but we're gonna have to wrap
This
this
year
up
of
at some
football has
point.
been drunk. Like, think back
Yeah.
about some of the wild moments from this year. Like, I mean, the Will Levis memes, the big guy pick sit. We had a pick sit this week, guys. My big 363-pound man caught himself a football, looked at the 80 yards down the field, and just knelt his ass down. He was like, nah, he said the bus ran out of gas, and he didn't want to be a meme. Do you know who's a fucking meme? He's a meme.
It's a crazy year, but John, we appreciate you coming on every week, all season. It's been awesome getting your insight, talking football with you, and the playoffs are coming up on Saturday all weekend, so it's gonna be awesome.
Good football. I hope all the games are exciting. I think there's probably one surprise that nobody can guess. And then after this week, that's when we really gonna start seeing some real football. Some real playoff football, some tough grind out football.
The divisional round is going to be awesome. The wild card round is going to be good. The divisional round is going to be awesome, and I can't wait for that. Real quick, who's going to win the Super Bowl? I'll start. Baltimore Ravens. Kentucky. Amanda's going to say the Buffalo. What are you saying?
In Kansas City. Kentucky Fried
Kansas City?
Yeah.
The three-peat? Yeah.
That kind of year, man. So many records being broke this year, man. I can't see.
A three-peat would be insane.
I talked to Eric Dickerson yesterday, right? And I was like, man, I know you happy as hell about that damn record. He said, you're motherfucking right.
You didn't
gonna act like that. It's like people be talking about, they want their record going. Hell no, I'm happy as hell he ain't played. That made my whole damn week. Because the first thing I said, was like, Eric, like, don't even front, man. Don't act like you ain't happy that Saquon didn't play. He's like, man, I ain't gonna front. Damn right.
He was subscribed to all like the updates for it. Like, is he playing? Like,
yeah.
He's fucking happy. I love that.
No question. He said he wanted his son to break the record. He said if my son break it, because his son is playing now, he was like, if I decide to let him do this, but now if he break it, now we talking about something. But you said,
yeah. He's so precious. I love grown men getting in their feels about football. That shit's adorable.
Amanda, make your pick. Green Bay Packers.
I think the episode's over. I think we're gonna hold off on that.
All right, Amanda's gonna hold out until the picks episodes, but. We appreciate the support, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. We appreciate you guys tuning in all season long. Stay tuned for our playoff coverage. And have a great week, guys. Peace out.